Hello dear children, good afternoon everyone, and once again welcome back you all to the online classes. And you all know that now we are started the 7th unit of your SST part, and it is the last unit of your second term syllabus, that is United Nations. And in that we are already started the first chapter, that is United Nations stands for world peace. So peace, it is the kind of non-violence, right? So that already I explained in your previous section that why the United Nations organization has formed. So after the Second World War, when almost all the world, almost everything was destroyed, many were lost their life, many properties were destroyed, and many weapons, everything, that more destruction was caused by the First and Second World War. So after that, each and every person of every country has started thinking that if it is go on like this, what will be the future, right? So that in that time, many of the country members, they have continuously they discussed about this, and finally they form the common international body, that is called the UNO, that is United Nations Organization. So they form the United Nations Organization, and the aim of this United Nations Organization is to bring the humanity and the peace and the cooperation among everyone. So towards all the countries and towards ourselves, so this is to bring the cooperation, this is to bring the peace, this is to bring the what we can say, everything, the humanity. So that the organization, a common national international body was organized, that is UNO, United Nations Organization, it was formed. And it was come into the force on 24th October 1945. So we all know that, and we are also invited, even though we are not at all get the freedom, even we are under the Britishers, we are not at all got our freedom in that time, in the 1945. Even though we were invited, means the India is also invited as the original part, means as the independent part, and Jawaharlal Nehru represented the India during that time. So likewise this United Organization was formed, and yesterday's class we have discussed about how it was formed, and as well as what are the objectives and what are the principles of these United Nations, that all we have already discussed in the yesterday's section. And in our today's section, we are going to discuss about the structure of the United Nations Organization. Yes. Now we can discuss the structure of the United Nations Organization. Yes. So here the structure of the United Nations Organization means, here this United Nations Organization, it is the main body, common international body, and in this many other cabinets, many other things will come, so that everybody perform some functions, and everybody are having some particular area, and particular members will be there in that, and they do their work in the particular aspects. So that this United Nations Organization, it is having the many organs are there. We can say in this, if it is one common body, so it is having many organs in it. So they are that is what we can say, all the organs together form this United Nations Organization. And what are those different organs? So there are 5 different organs are there in the United Nations Organization. and they are the first one, the General Assembly, the General Assembly, and the second one is Security Council, Security Council, and the third one is International Court of Justice, International Court of Justice, and the fourth one is the Economic and Social Council, the Economic and Social Council, and the fifth one, it is the Secretariat, the Secretariat. So these are the 5 organs of the United Nations organization. So one is the General Assembly, and second one is Security Council, third one is International Court of Justice, fourth one is the Economic and Social Council, and the fifth one is the Secretariat. So these are the 5 organs of the United Nations organization. Is it clear? And now we can discuss one by one what are these organs of the United Nations organization. So first we can discuss about the General Assembly. So here the General Assembly, this General Assembly having means in the United Nations organs there are many members are there. Yes, so there are 193. So that all the members of the UN, that is United Nations organization, are the members of the General Assembly. So how many members are there in the United Nations organization? They are all the members of this General Assembly. And these UN members, whatever there in the General Assembly, each member of each member country, that is called as the state. Yes, each member country here we call as the state. Each member country is called as the state. Okay, so there are many of the member countries are there in the United Nations organization, and all those member countries, that is say 193 member countries, and all the member countries are become the members of this General Assembly, and that each member country, it is called as state. We can call it as the state, and this has the 5 representatives and a single vote. So each state is having the 5 representatives and each are having a single vote, means one vote is provided to all. And whenever some proposals are put forwarded, so that each state is having 5 representatives and each 5 representatives are having single vote. And whenever the proposal is put forwarded, either it may be depending on the finance or it may be regarding the admission of the new member country or the security or whatever the peace. So there regarding all these some proposals when we put forward, so there to accept that or to change if any changes will be there. So already suppose if we have some rules and regulations, if we made some rules or if we made some proposals already, it has in the it is already following by all the member countries, and if we want to make any changes in that, so in that time that proposal will be voted by, or it will be means majority of the people should accept that proposal. So that they will take the 2/3 of the majority. Two-third of the majority votes will be given. So when if the majority is more, means 2/3, then that proposal will come into the force. So this is how the General Assembly works. So whatever the proposals will be there regarding the peace or regarding the finance and regarding the security, as well as the new members will be joining, and many other countries may take the membership of the United Nations organization. So all these are elected and all these are accepted by the 2/3 majority of the members of the General Assembly. So this is the General Assembly. And the second one we can discuss about, and one more thing about this, the Vijay Lakshmi Pandit. Vijay Lakshmi Pandit Vijay Lakshmi Pandit. She was become the first women president, and she was the one proud thing to be explained that she was the Indian delegate, and she was become the first women president of the UN General Assembly in the year of 1953. In the year of 1953, Vijay Lakshmi Pandit, the Indian delegate, was become the first president of UN General Assembly in the year of 1953. And this is one proud thing to be said because she was the Indian. Right? So this is about the General Assembly, and next we can discuss about the Security Council. And the second one is Security Council. Security Council. And here in the Security Council, actually it is the working body of the United Nations organization. Yes, this Security Council, it is the working body, and a representative of its members has to be present in the UN headquarters at all the times. So where the UN headquarters are there, so these Security Council members, they should present in the United Nations, in that council for all the times. And the council has totally 15 members. So here this Security Council has total 15 members, and with each having one vote. So each 15 members of this council, the 15 members of the Security Council are having the one vote. Yes, these are having one vote each. And 5 permanent members are there in the Security Council. So totally there are 15 members are there. But in that 15 members, 5 members are permanent, and those permanent 5 members are Britain. So 5 permanent members are there. 5 permanent members. So those 5 permanent members are Britain and China, France, Russia and USA. Russia and USA. So these are the 5 permanent members of the Security Council. So there are how many members are there totally? Yes, 15 members. So 15 states are there under this Security Council. And among these 15 members, so each members are having one vote. And in the 15 members, 5 are permanent members, means they will be all the times. They are permanent and they are not going to be changed. So they are Britain, China, France, Russia and USA. These are the 5 permanent members of the Security Council and other 10 members. So there are totally 15 members are there. So other 10 members of this Security Council, they will be elected by these members and they are having 2 years time. Means they will they are elected for the term of 2 years. So other 10 members and they will be go on changing. And the 5 permanent members, these 5 permanent members, they are having the veto power. Yes, they are having veto power. And what do you mean by this veto power? That is vote, that is different, and this is veto power. So veto power means these 5 permanent members, they are having the right to reject the proposal. So if any proposals means either it may be it may be regarding any of the aspect which is there in the United Nations organization, and when some countries they put forward some proposals and they are having the ability to reject that proposal, and that we can call as the veto power. And for rejecting also some rules and regulations are there, and but they have that power, that is called veto power. And this is to prevent or adoption of the resolution passed by the Security Council. So this is what we can say the veto power. So veto is a right enjoyed by some members of the organization which allows them to reject a decision or a proposal. So that is we call as the veto power, and this is about the Security Council. And the next one is the International Court of Justice. Third one, International Court of Justice. Yes. So here in the International Court of Justice, it is the principal judicial organ of the United Nations. So this International Court of Justice, it is the principal judicial organization. So whatever the judiciary, whatever the acts are going to be taken place, and that is all there under this International Court of Justice, and it means the functions are settle legal disputes and provide advisory opinions on legal questions submitted to it. So whatever the legal questions, whatever the legal proposals which are put in front of this International Court of Justice, so this will provide the advice and the legal, whatever the legal things or the legal steps, whatever it has to be taken place, and that is all by this International Court of Justice. So whatever, but it will be there in the legal form. So that if it is there in the legal matter, so when it submitted to the International Court of Justice, and it will sort out and it will give the advisory opinions and it will solve all this. And here its headquarters are there in the Hague. The headquarters. Headquarters means this is the main whatever we can call the main place which is there, everything which is handled by, so that headquarter we can call, and this headquarter that we can call as the main branch. So the headquarters of this International Court of Justice is there in Hague. Hague of Netherlands. Yes. The headquarters of the International Court of Justice is there in the Hague, which is there in the Netherlands. Right? And the fourth one, the Economic and Social socially. So that all the aspects will be taken place. Whatever the proposals according to regarding this will be discussed, and this will be verified in the Economic and Social Council. And see, the council works towards the social and economic progresses and development. So its main function, the Economic and Social Council, the main function of this to develop the progress and development in the social and economic aspects. And see, it has total of 54 members. How many members are there in this? 54 members. So the Economic and Social Council has total of 54 members, and who are elected by the General Assembly of the General Assembly to this Economic and Social Council. So these 54 members, they are elected by the General Assembly, and they are given to the Economic and the Social Council for a term, means for a tenure for 3 years. So their timing will be 3 years, and they are elected by General Assembly, and their timing will be for the term of 3 years. And here what happened? The president of this are actually there also the president are elected, and these members actually they are elected by the presidents. And for economic issues, it works hand in hand. So for economic, whatever, because the economic development is very important nowadays. So when we say it is the growth of the nation, it is growth of one's nation, that is the growth in the economic manner. So that this is very important, and so that here in this will work in hand to hand in the World Bank, that is WB, World Bank, and the International Monetary Fund, that is IMF, International Monetary Fund, that is IMF. So this is to develop, or this is to progress economically. So these are the international ones. So that they are the World Bank, WB, as well as International Monetary Fund, that is IMF. Okay. And the next one, the last one is the Secretariat. The last organ of this United Nations organization, the Secretariat. Okay. So here it is the Chief Administrative Office of the UN. This Secretariat, it is the Chief Administrative Office of the UN. What is UN? United Nations. Okay. So the Secretariat is the Chief Administrative Office of the United Nations, and at its head is the Secretary General. So its head. So whatever it is going on, that is under the Secretary head, and who is appointed by the General Assembly on the recommendation of the Security Council for the 5-year, and they can be renewable then. So here the head of the Secretariat, he is the Secretary General. He is the head of this. Head of this Secretariat is the Secretary General, and he was appointed by the General Assembly, and he was elected for the 5 years, term of 5 years. And it also comprises a staff of international civil services, whatever the international civil services Secretary General, who is the head of this Secretariat. And the Secretariat supervises the he supervises, means he give the what the instructions, and also he coordinates the functioning of the UN. Whatever the functions of the UN are there, so that all will be coordinated and instructed by the Secretariat. That is the Secretary General, who is the head of the Secretariat, right? And the present Secretary of the present Secretary General is Mr. Ban Ki-moon. So Mr. Ban Ki-moon is the present Secretary General. He is the present Secretary General, who is from the South Korea. He is from South Korea, and he is the present Secretary General. So, and he took office in 2007 and was elected for second term in 2011, right? And this is about the structure of the United Nations organization. Is it clear? Yes. So that with this I will conclude my today's class, and I hope you have understood this. Even though if you have any doubts, you can contact me and clarify doubts. Okay. And in the next class we can discuss about the major agencies of the UN. And other than these organs of the United Nations, there are many major agencies are there. So some are they work on the agriculture, they work on the education, they work on the human rights, they work on the health. So those main agencies are there. So regarding all that we can discuss in our next section. So if you have any doubts regarding this, you can contact me and we can clarify doubts. Thank you. Have a nice day.